They told him it was holy wealth. They said it was just a spiritual recovery of his stolen glory. But as Leo stood over the third casket in 6 months, he finally understood the math of the pastor's miracle. Every million that hit his bank account wasn't coming from heaven. It was being subtracted from his heartbeats. Leo stepped back from the casket, his breath shallow. A voice crept into his mind, not loud, just certain. You are next. 3 years earlier, Leo didn't have a car. He had a phone with a cracked screen and an Instagram feed full of people his age living the kind of life he could only refresh. The guys in the foreign cars, the girls in the hotel rooms in Dubai, the outfits, the trips, the watches, the wads of cash fanned out for the camera like it meant nothing. He wasn't lazy. That was the thing that burned most. He hustled. He had tried crypto and lost. He had done drop shipping and it had gone nowhere. Did some logistic runs. Tried to learn forex. Nothing held. Nothing scaled. And every morning, he opened social media and watched someone else announce another win. Kingsley felt it too. So did Johnson and Dave. 4 friends, same struggle, same frustration. They were all the same. Mid-20s, not stupid, not idle, just stuck in a gap between where they were and where the internet told them they should be. Their conversations always ended the same way. There has to be a way. There is a way, we just haven't found it. Or we are looking in the wrong places. They had heard the stories of boys who rose fast and fell faster. The madness, the death. The ones who couldn't sleep without lights on. Those stories circulated like warnings. None of them wanted that. They wanted the money, not the destruction. The night everything changed. They were sitting outside a small bar, sharing food like it was normal. Kingsley dropped his phone. I am done. Nobody asked what he meant. They understood. I can't keep watching life pass me by, he said. There are people using systems we don't understand. Dave scoffed. If it's ritual, count me out. Kingsley shook his head immediately. Not ritual. He leaned forward. Church. That got Leo's attention. They met the prophet 3 days later. His name was Prophet Emmanuel. He operated from a small-sized church. He was not what Leo expected. Clean shoes, good watch, quiet authority. He didn't shout or sweat or wave his hands. He simply spoke, and somehow, everything he said landed like it had been waiting for them specifically to hear it. He opened the Bible before he said anything personal. Matthew 11:12. The kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. He paused on the word violent. Most believers read that and skip over it, he said. They want to be polite about their faith. Gentle, patient. He closed the Bible. But God is not asking for gentlemen. He is asking for soldiers who are willing to go into enemy territory and reclaim what was taken. Leo felt something shift in his chest. Not suspicion, recognition. Your poverty is not humility, the pastor continued. It is a robbery that has been normalized. Someone somewhere took your portion. And they didn't just spend it, they buried it in the ground. That's where stolen glory lives. And the only way to retrieve it is to go there. He explained the process calmly, the way a doctor explains a procedure. 3 days of fasting and prayer. No food, no water. Purification. You are clearing the channel so God can move, he said. The body has to be emptied before it can be filled. Then, on the 3rd night, they would go to the burial ground, not to worship the dead, but to stand on the territory where enemy had hidden their inheritance and speak it back into their lives. You are not going for the dead, he said, looking at Leo directly. You are going for yourself. What came next was the part that should have stopped Leo cold. It didn't. The prophet told them, they would each spend the night inside an open casket. To be born rich, he said, you must first die to the life you have known. He said it so plainly that the horror of it didn't register the way it should have. Kingsley shifted in his seat. David looked at the floor, but Leo was still thinking about the beauty of wealth. When do we start? Leo heard himself say. The 3-day fast was harder than he expected. Day 1, no food, no water. Leo's throat burned. His stomach twisted, but he ignored it. This was part of it. Process. By day 2, Leo's vision blurred at the edges, and his mouth tasted like metal. They prayed in shifts, 3 hours on, 2 hours off, and the pastor was always present, always praying over them, always reinforcing the narrative. You are clearing the path. You are preparing the soil. The enemy is resisting because he knows what's coming for him. Day 3, everything blurred, time stretched, voices sounded distant. That night, the prophet returned, and this time, there was no softness in his eyes. It is time, he said. They went to the cemetery at midnight. The cemetery air was colder, still, heavy. Leo's steps slowed as they walked in. Graves stretched endlessly in front of them. Names carved into stone. Stories ended. His chest tightened. This is where it was buried, the prophet said calmly. Leo's stomach dropped. Something inside him resisted. This doesn't feel right, he muttered. Kingsley didn't hesitate. We've come this far. The prophet stopped walking. Then he pointed. Leo followed his hand and froze. 4 open caskets lined up, waiting. No, Leo whispered under his breath. The prophet turned to him slowly. To live differently, he said, you must first die to your current state. Leo shook his head slightly. The prophet stepped closer. Fear always comes when breakthrough is near, he said quietly. The prophet prayed over them for nearly 20 minutes. Then he told them to get in. Kingsley climbed into the first casket. See you on the other side, he said with a weak smile. Johnson followed. Dave hesitated, then entered. Leo stood there, heart pounding. Something inside him screamed, leave. But louder than that was the thought of staying the same. Leo stepped forward and lay inside. The wood was cold, the space tight. The lid above him blocked everything out. Darkness, total. Then a sound, faint. Leo's eyes opened sharply. Did you hear that? Dave whispered from somewhere nearby. Ignore it, Kingsley said, but his voice wasn't steady. The prophet's voice came from outside. Do not be afraid. What you feel is the grave recognizing a living man. That is power. Leo's breathing quickened. Then the whisper started, low, unclear, close. Leo shut his eyes tight. It's nothing. It's part of it. Time stretched. At some point, Leo stopped fighting, and the darkness settled. Morning, the lids opened. Light poured in. Leo gasped, sitting up, alive. Kingsley laughed immediately. We did it! The prophet nodded once. It is complete. 7 days later, Leo stared at his phone. 10 million naira credits. His breath caught. He stared at the balance for a long time. Then he called Kingsley. It worked, he said. Kingsley was quiet for a moment. Then, mine came yesterday. I didn't want to say anything until I was sure. Johnson's came the day after. Dave's arrived in 2 transfers, 1 day apart, as if whoever was sending it wanted to be careful. Kingsley pulled up in the new car. Johnson upgraded everything. Dave started posting non-stop. Luxury, trips, money, everything changed. Fast, clean, just as promised. And for a while, it was everything they thought it would be. Until the first crack. Dave stopped answering calls. 2 days. Then the news came. Heart failure. Leo sat still, confused. He was 26. That's not normal, he said quietly. The prophet shook his head. Spiritual attack, he replied calmly. From his lineage. Leo nodded slowly. That explanation settled his mind. For a moment, then, Johnson died the following month. The car accident happened on a stretch of road he drove every week. Clear day, dry road, no other vehicle involved. The car simply left the road. Police called it driver error. Leo's chest tightened one by one. They were dropping, like something was picking them off. And deep down, Leo felt it. This wasn't coincidence. This was attack. At first, he tried to ignore it because the money was still coming. Every few days, alerts, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million. Deals he didn't fully understand. Connections that appeared out of nowhere. The next funeral broke something in him. Kingsley, the loudest of them, the boldest, gone. Car accident. That's what they said. But Leo had seen the pictures. The car didn't even look that damaged. Yet, Kingsley was dead just like that. Leo stood at the burial, barely hearing the prayers. His eyes kept drifting, counting. First Dave, then Johnson, now Kingsley. 3 out of 4. And suddenly, numbers mattered. Leo turned away before they lowered the coffin. He couldn't watch it again, not this time. That night, Leo went to the church. He didn't wait, he didn't call, he walked straight in. The prophet was already there, as if he knew. "You are afraid," the prophet said calmly. Leo didn't sit. "Something is wrong." The prophet tilted his head slightly. "Fear is a distraction." Leo shook his head. "No, this is not fear." His voice dropped. "They are dying." The prophet watched him. Then he sighed softly, like a father dealing with a stubborn child. "Life and death are spiritual matters," he said. "You don't understand what is happening behind the scenes." Leo's chest tightened. "I just want to know the truth." The prophet stepped closer, and for a brief moment, something shifted in his eyes. Cold, sharp, gone almost instantly. "Enjoy your life, Leo, while you have it." Leo froze. The words hit differently. Not comfort, not reassurance, a warning. Leo stepped back slowly, and for the first time since he met the man, he felt it clearly. He was not safe. Leo drove home and sat in his car for 40 minutes without getting out. That night, he had a strange dream. Leo stood inside the church, but it wasn't the same. Darker, empty. The walls looked older, cracked, breathing. He walked slowly towards the altar. His footsteps echoed. Then he saw it, a book, thick, heavy, resting on the altar. Leo hesitated, then reached for it. The moment his fingers touched it, the church shifted. The air turned cold. He opened the book. The pages were full of names, written in red. His chest tightened. He recognized them. Dave, Johnson, Kingsley. Each name had something beside it, a number and date. Dave, 26, crossed out. Johnson, 26, crossed out. Kingsley, 27, crossed out. He didn't understand the numbers at first. Then he did. They were ages, final ages. Leo's hands began to shake. He flipped further. Then he saw it. His name, Leo, 28, not crossed, not yet. But there was a date beside the number, and the date was 4 months away. And it was written in ink that looked darker and fresher than everything else on the page. Leo staggered back. No! The ground beneath him cracked slightly, and then a voice, not human, deep, ancient. "You agreed." Leo turned sharply. Darkness moved behind the altar. Something watching, waiting. Leo's chest tightened. "I didn't!" "You entered willingly," the voice echoed. Leo's breath became uneven. "This is not what we were told." Leo woke up with a gasp. Sweat soaked his body. His heart pounded violently. He looked around. His room, normal, quiet. But something had followed him out of that dream. Leo tried to stop spending the money. He thought maybe that would slow it down. Maybe it was tied to how much he used. But it didn't matter. The alerts kept coming, faster, larger, 8 million, 20 million, and with every alert, his body felt weaker. He started getting headaches, sharp, sudden. His chest would tighten randomly. His vision blurred sometimes. Leo sat on his bed one evening, staring at his phone. This is not normal. His hands trembled. The money wasn't helping anymore. It was chasing him. Then his body gave in. Leo collapsed in the bathroom. No warning, no build-up, just darkness. The hospital room was quiet. Machines beeped steadily. Leo lay still, unmoving, eyes closed. Doctors moved around him. He's not responding. Pulse is weak. Prepare. Then it happened, flatline. At that exact moment, miles away, the prophet stood inside the church, strange symbols drawn on the floor. He had 12 candles burning on his altar. He burned them during every major collection, one for each soul in his ledger that was still active, still draining into his reservoir. He called it his garden. Leo's candle was the tallest. The same book from Leo's dreams sat open in front of him. Leo's name glowed faintly. The prophet smiled. Finally, he whispered. He was in the middle of his counter ritual when the first candle flickered. Not from wind. The windows were closed. It simply shook. And then the flame bent sideways as if something unseen had passed through the room. He looked at it. It steadied. He continued. Back in the hospital, Leo's body jerked slightly, then went still again. His mother arrived running, breathless, eyes wide with fear. Leo! She rushed to his side, grabbing his hand, cold. Tears filled her eyes instantly. No, no, no. The doctor stepped closer. We are doing everything we can. She didn't listen. She already felt it. This wasn't ordinary. She placed her hand on Leo's chest, closed her eyes, and whispered softly, God, show me. That night, she didn't sleep. She didn't sit. She stood, praying fervently. By the second day, her voice had changed. She wasn't praying about healing. She was praying against what she called strange covenants, about blood money and borrowed time. And she was calling his name over and over, like she was pulling him back from somewhere far. Something had been revealed to her. She saw it, the prophet, not as a man, but something else, a collector, a harvester, young man, ambition, wealth as bait, life as payment. Her hands trembled, but she didn't stop. You will not take my son, she shouted. Back in the church, the prophet's candles flickered. One went out. He paused, frowned slightly, then continued. Day 3, Leo's body remained still. Machines breathing for him. Doctors losing hope. His mother stood beside him, weaker now, but unshaken. Her lips cracked, her voice low, but steady. The contract was signed in ignorance, she whispered, but mercy overrides judgment. The prophet's eyes snapped open. Another candle went out. He stood up slowly. No! He looked at the book. Leo's name flickered. Back in the hospital, Leo's body jerked suddenly. His chest rose, then flatlined again. His mother gasped, but she didn't step back. She grabbed his hand tighter. Come back, she cried. You are not done. In the spirit, Leo stood in darkness. The same place, the same presence. You are finished, the voice said. Leo shook his head weakly. I want out. You cannot leave what you entered. Leo fell to his knees. I don't know. That does not cancel it. Then suddenly, another voice, soft but powerful, calling his name. Leo! He turned, light, faint, far, but there, His mother's voice. Praying, calling, pulling. Leo stood slowly. I am not staying here. Back in the church, the prophet slammed the book shut. No! The remaining candles went out, one after another. In the hospital, Leo's body jerked violently. His chest rose sharply. He sucked in air like someone who had been drowning. Machines beeped rapidly. Doctors froze. He's back! His mother collapsed to her knees, tears streaming but smiling. Leo's eyes opened slowly, weak, confused, disoriented, alive. Across town, the pastor sat on the floor, breathing hard, sweat dripping, his hands shaking. For the first time, he looked afraid. But he wasn't going to give up. His head snapped up, slowly, deliberately. He reached for the candles. One by one, he lit them again. The flames came back to life. His breathing slowed. Control returned. You don't walk away from a covenant, he muttered. His voice dropped lower, darker. I have fed this altar. I have sustained this power. He opened the book again. Leo's name flickered faintly. The pastor's jaw tightened. He cannot leave when it is time to pay. His fingers tightened around the edge of the book. Then he began, low chant, each word heavy, each syllable intentional. The air in the room shifted again. The candles burned brighter. The shadows behind him stretched, then moved. Back in the hospital, Leo's body suddenly jerked. Once, twice. The monitor spiked, then dropped, flatline. The sound cut through the room like a blade. No! The doctor rushed forward. Clear the space. His mother froze. Her breath caught. Not again. Not like this. Across town, the pastor's voice deepened, more forceful. You were given access, he said, his tone rising. You were marked. You were counted. The candle flames leaned towards him as if responding. You do not escape when you entered. The room darkened further. The air thickened. The book trembled slightly. Back in the hospital, doctors moved faster now. Charge. Again. Leo's body lifted slightly from the bed. Dropped. Nothing. Again. Still nothing. One of the doctors exhaled slowly. We are losing him. His mother stepped forward. No. Her voice was quiet but firm. The doctor looked at her carefully. I am sorry. We've done everything we can. She shook her head slowly. No, not everything. She placed her hand on Leo's chest again. Her body trembled. Her strength almost gone. And then she began, not loud, but fierce. Lord, you are the giver of life, she said, her voice shaking but unbroken. And what you have given, no man takes. Across town, the pastor's chant grew faster, sharper. You cannot take what has been sealed. His hands slammed onto the floor. I have paid for this. The candles flared violently. The shadows behind him twisted. Back in the hospital, her voice grew stronger. If there is a voice speaking against my son, let it be silenced now in the name of Jesus. Her breath shook, her body weak, but she didn't stop. You said in your word, Lord, that mercy triumphs over judgment. The pastor froze for half a second. His eyes snapped open. Something shifted. Then he pushed harder. No mercy here, he whispered. Only covenants. Leo's body lay still, cold. Minutes passed, then more. The room quieted. Even the machine seemed distant. His mother's voice softened, almost gone now. Her strength nearly finished, but her lips kept moving. I will not bury my son. Her hands tightened weakly on his chest. I will not. Across town, the pastor's voice rose again. Then suddenly, he stopped, mid-word. His face tightened, his body stiffened. A flicker, small. Then, heat. His eyes widened. No! The candle flames twisted violently, then surged. And in an instant, fire. It caught his sleeves first, then spread fast, uncontrolled. He staggered back. No! The book fell from his hand. The pages flipped widely. Leo's name burned brighter. Then went still. Back in the hospital, Leo's body jerked, sharp, violent. Wait! The doctor stepped closer. He's back! His mother collapsed forward, tears falling freely. Leo's eyes opened, weak but alive. Across town, the fire died down as quickly as it came. The pastor lay still, burn marks across his arm, his breathing shallow, the candles all out, the room silent. Back in the hospital, Leo turned his head slowly. His mother was beside him, holding his hand. He looked at her, no words, but everything was understood. Days later, Leo stood in front of a mirror. No designer clothes, no chains, no luxury. Everything gone. Bank accounts empty. Cars disappeared. House gone, like it never happened. Weeks later, Leo picked up his phone, turned on the camera, and stared into it. If anyone tells you there is a shortcut to wealth, he paused, his voice steady. Run. You think it's just money, he said quietly. You think because it's coming through church, it is safe. We thought the same thing. They didn't ask for blood, so we thought we were smart. Leo leaned forward slightly, but nobody told us. His voice dropped, that we were the blood. I buried all of them. His eyes didn't move, and I almost joined them. If you're chasing speed, he held the camera's gaze. Ask yourself what it's taken in return. I lost everything. He swallowed, but I got my life back. He leaned closer slightly, and not everyone does. The screen faded, leaving only his voice behind. Be careful what you call a blessing. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you want to see more stories of light overcoming darkness, watch this next video. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.